It's Thanksgiving today, but there are games tomorrow. 10 of them in the NBA. Let's preview them with what we know at the moment. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and after this show, just meet me in the quad. We'll talk about our plans for prom, and we'll also talk about what our GPA is and discuss what we're going to do for LSATs. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky at joshloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at LockedOnFantasyBasketball. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Start the season with a big return on FanDuel. Get $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Go to FanDuel.com to get started. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We are available on all platforms, so double bang it and thumb it up and leave your comments, and head across to lockedondaily.com as well, and you can there find a newsletter for your favorite team. In fact, it's the best newsletter for your favorite team. Sign up at lockedondaily.com. So we're doing this show previewing Friday's games. I hope there's no little mishaps in some of the graphics that I did, because something weird happened with the last couple, and I think I'm going to be able to catch it, but just be aware if something weird happens, I will correct it immediately. And then we just did have a couple of little weird, sort of out of nowhere injury bombs just drop as I started this show, which we will talk about as we get to those particular games. But a bunch of stuff that just sort of popped up, and I wasn't expecting them. But that's the nature of it, isn't it? Let's talk 10 games. Friday's 10 games. Hope you're enjoying your day today, and you're consuming this show at a period later on in the day, or when you've got some free time, or you're getting the whole family involved and you're putting it up on the big screen and you're getting everyone to gather around and watch some fantasy basketball information. The first game up, and by the way, for some reason, I don't know the reason, there's incredibly early games on, and this is one of them. Knicks Hornets, midday tomorrow. Midday Eastern, that's 4 a.m. for us here. And then we've got, it's a weird day. So, midday, tomorrow, that's what's happening. And this is one of the games that we got an injury update on. Now, the Knicks were 9.5 point favorites. I'm going to gather that they're not anymore because there's been a change in some availabilities. Schedule-wise, it's Friday, Sunday for New York into Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday next week. Charlotte is Friday, Saturday into Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday next week. On the Knicks, it's Precious Achiuwa and Mitchell Robinson that are out. Tyler Kolek's actually off the injury report. And then Mark Williams, Nick Richards, Miles Bridges, Daquan Jeffries are all out. But we also got news. This was the one out of nowhere. Like, LaMelo Ball is out. Apparently, he suffered a bit of a calf problem at the end of the last game. They're calling it calf soreness. And then they said the injury happened at the end of the last game. I don't think soreness is an acute thing, my guys. So somebody's lying. Probably the Hornets. Well, definitely the Hornets. But which way are they lying? Is it soreness and they're resting him on the first game of back-to-back? Or is it a way worse injury that they're covering up? I don't know. Not good. LaMelo Ball is out. And then the guy that would have stepped into his role, Trey Mann, is also out. So, what this means, despite me telling you that the stream there is Moussa Diabate, the stream is Vasa Micic. It's very, very clearly Vasa Micic. And Vasa Micic has value for Friday. He has value for Saturday. And he is a guy that you grab. I don't know if LaMelo Ball is going to be out long term. I bloody hope that he isn't. And I hope it's nothing serious. But the lying nature of this report makes me a little worried. So I would be very, very interested here in grabbing Vasa Micic. Yes, cool. What do we want to watch? On the Knicks, Jalen Brunson seems to have turned some things around, and that is an absolute W for us. Let's see whether that holds. Let's see whether your shooting is. But it has been a huge, huge turnaround, which we love. On the Hornets side of things, last game, massive game from Tijan Solin. The previous game, which he also started, was bad. And it's another one of those ones where we want to look at the game logs, because it is a very good game, last game from Solin. But I don't have the faith that he's going to be able to do that on a regular basis. And we know that Bridges and Richards and Williams are all coming back. I don't think that I would necessarily burn an ad here on Salam, but I do want to see what he does. Juice McBride, limited minutes last game. I think he can push back to 25 or so he's probably my Knicks streamer. And then Moussa Diabate. You could throw Salam in there as well, no problem with that. But Diabate's at least done it really regularly, like 2 points, double-digit rebounds, steal, block, basically every game. And while those guys are out, I like him to do that. But of course, the number one guy there again, I know it's not on the graphic because it just happened. Vasa Micic. Vasa Micic is the guy that we're streaming in, and we're holding to see if the LaMelo thing lasts long term. We hope not. I tend to think maybe not. But yeah, not ideal. Let's go to the next one. We're going to talk Cleveland and Atlanta, and we did get some injury updates here. Obviously, nothing as spectacularly annoying as that LaMelo one. The Cavs go Friday, Sunday. The Hawks are Friday, Saturday. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday for Cleveland in Week 7. And Atlanta is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Remembering that Week 7 in Yahoo is an insane week that they have screwed up and made it completely incorrect. And their Week 7 goes for 14 days. Us regular folks who use Fantrax and are in the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Bowl, Week 7 is just a regular week. It's a 7-day matchup. So that I'll still be referring to that. When I do the weekly preview show, I don't really know how I'm going to do it because I know a lot of you play on Yahoo with those formats and you can't change them. So I'll probably have to address that there, which is going to be annoying for me there as well. What do we know? Who's in, who's out? The Winter Soldier, Max Strus, remains out. Dean Wade actually just got ruled out, but Dracaris Levert is questionable. So that's a W there. I put Trae Young on the injury report as questionable, just in case, but he's actually probable. So, okay, that's that. And then they've got, what are these? Oh, they're just the two-way. I hate when teams put a questionable tag on a two-way player. It doesn't really make sense, but anyway, that's all good. What am I watching for the Cavs? The last 4 or 5 games from Darius Garland have been a little bit down. The usage is down somewhat. The shooting was always going to drop. So I just want to see where he's sort of going to fit into this little mix. And then on the Hawks, well, it is Trae Young, who's dishing the incredible, what do you have, 19, 16, and 22 assists in his last 3 of his last 4 games? How much is the Achilles hampering him? It is hampering him a little bit. But let's see what those assists can keep doing. In terms of streams, we are still running with the dollop Ty Jerome, who has been very good most of the time. Of course, none of that stuff is real and will not hold. But while someone like Wade is out, and if it's Levert getting out as well, there's more minutes there for Jerome, which I think he needs. In 17 minutes, he cannot be a 12-team guy. 24 minutes, he absolutely can. And that's the difference there. And then for the Hawks, DeAndre Hunter is the stream guy for me. You know what the risk is with Hunter, that he's going to have a 14-point game on 20% shooting with nothing else, or he has 27 on 70% shooting. I don't mind if you want to roster him, especially in points leagues. In categories, to me, he is okay to stream in. He is okay to use, but he's absolutely not a must-roster player because of those issues and concerns with what he usually brings, or more accurately doesn't bring to the table. We got some updates on this one, which is also by the way, that Cavs-Hawks game, which they just played on Wednesday, they're playing again on Friday. That's another early game. That's a 2:30 p.m. Eastern game. So we're talking, so that one. Then this one here is New Orleans and Memphis, which is, I'm trying to work it out, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central. Memphis is Central? Memphis Central time zone, yeah? Anyway, don't matter. Anyway, that's around that time. It's 5 p.m. Eastern, the game. Schedule-wise, Pelicans are Friday, Sunday, into Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Memphis is Friday, Sunday, into Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Zion is out. Alvarado is out. Herb Jones is out. Brandon Ingram and Trey Murphy are both now officially questionable. Jordan Hawkins is also popped up as officially questionable. Jamal Cain is questionable as well. Zach Edey's out, G.G. Jackson's out, and Vince Williams is out on Memphis, while Ja Morant is probable. So he missed that one game pre-Thanksgiving, and he's likely to return here. On the Pelicans, CJ McCollum, I just want to see, I guess, his ball handling reps, what it means with Alfred Payton, and how the McCollum-Murray, which we've seen 2 games of and still don't really understand the pairing yet, how that all works together, especially if Ingram and Murphy play and how they distribute all that touch time and that sort of stuff, because that'll be very intriguing. On the Grizzlies, there's a lot of consternation and concern about what Desmond Bane is up to. It's been bad. I'm very confident that Desmond Bane is better than what we have seen, so I'm okay with that. I just needed to turn around. In terms of stream, guys, the Pelicans is remaining Eve Missy. I don't know what happens when these guys return, like in particular, when we get Herb back and Ingram and Murphy back. Herb's not back, but those other two might. Like, where does Missy fit in? Is it 23 minutes? Is it 25 minutes? Is he a 27-minute guy until Zion returns? That's possible. He's very, back end. To me, he's I like Derek Lively a little bit more than what Eve Missy is, but that's similar to the level that he is. But I fear that Missy's numbers will drop later on in the year. And then for the Grizzlies, while Edey is out, Brandon Clark continues to just be not rostered anywhere. And I know he's not giving anything exciting, but that's at least streamable. It's at least streamable. I think sometimes people get confused when I talk about something. I say, man, look, Brandon Clark looks interesting. But I say, I'm not sure about Missy rest of season. When in reality, the production they're putting up at the moment is not that far apart. It's to do with different perceptions. There's the idea that Eve Micic is a must-roster guy, rest of season he's putting up good numbers, whereas nobody is rostering Clark. But for the time now, I think both of them are usable in 12-team leagues as a short-term thing to see where it goes. I don't have any, and no one has any thoughts that Brandon Clark is going to be a long-term 12-team league guy, so nobody considers it when I say, yeah, stream him in and use him, and I get, interested in that because he's available in 95% of leagues. But if you say the same thing for Micic, I don't know if he's going to be a holdable guy. That means he's somewhat droppable on scheduled days. Then it seems a little bit different because people are holding him. So there is always going to be differences in perception with those sort of players. That's like back to the DeAndre Hunter discussion. I don't think that he just has to be held on to through all circumstances. But in terms of whether you stream him in on certain days, it makes sense at times. You just understand that he's going to have a lot of inconsistencies, which is hard to have a player like that as an absolute must. You've got to hold through everything. And that's, I guess, I probably don't do a good enough job of explaining the differences there. But when I say that, Micic's a stream and Clark's a stream, because I think their value, Micic may be marginally ahead of Clark in the short term, but no one thinks Clark's a long-term guy. People do think Micic is, and I disagree with that on Micic a little bit. So they're closer to me than other people think. And I hope that goes a little bit of the way to explaining sometimes how I think about this stuff. We're going to come back, cover off the rest of these games, do streams of the day, but today's episode is brought to you by old mates over at Skylight Frames. Holiday season is coming up. Thanksgiving is in the States, I believe, the start of the holiday season for the next month. You've got a bunch of holidays with Christmas in there as well, and you might be looking for gifts for somebody. And that's where Skylight Frames comes in. What is it? It is a digital touchscreen photo frame. Comes in two sizes, a 10-incher and a 15-incher. You can choose whether you want to take the 15-incher or the 10-incher. That is up to you and the person that you are giving it to. But Skylight Frames provides this great option where you can get that frame set up, someone in your family, and then you get either an app or there's an email address, and people, whoever they are, family, friends, across the world, across the country, can just send photos and bang, there they are, appearing on your screen. You can swipe through the photos, you can send likes onto the photos to give that feedback to the people that send them. And it's a great way for people who are separated in distance and time or whatever. In time, I don't know, have we got time machines here? Maybe we do. Maybe I'm foretelling. But you can just get that stuff onto those screens so easily, easy to set up, under 60 seconds, easy to get those photos and share them with your friends and family. And now as a limited time offer, you guys, all you legends out there, get $20 off your purchase of a Skylight frame when you go to skylightframe.com/NBA. That is SKYLIGHTFRAME.com/NBA. Get $20 off your purchase now at skylightframe.com/NBA. Not really sure why they get me to read out and spell out Skylight Frame. I didn't really think you'd be able to spell it any other way, but I guess maybe you got to make sure. You just got to make sure. All right, next one. It is the Orlando Magic and the Brooklyn Nets, and this is another one where we just got a random injury sort of out of nowhere. Well, it's not actually an injury, an absence out of nowhere, because Dennis Schroeder has been ruled out for personal absence for Brooklyn. Okay. That means that there's obviously no Cam Thomas, there's no Bojan Bogdanovic, there is no Noah Clowney, there's no Day'Ron Sharp, and then we had Nick Claxton and Jalen Wilson, who missed the last game as well. They're both officially questionable, as well as Dorian Finney-Smith popping up on the injury report as questionable. So their point guard depth, it's going to have to be Ben Simmons at point guard, but that means guys like Keon Johnson and Shake Milton, Tyrese Martin absolutely cooked in the last game. You're going to have Zaire Williams and Jalen Wilson doing a lot more here. There's just no usage available on this team. Everybody's out. The two usage guys are Schroeder and Thomas. So you're going to have a lot for Johnson, but then it's going to be Williams. It's going to be Wilson if he plays. It's unbelievably going to be Tyrese Martin because everyone's out. On the Magic, Paolo Banchero is out and Gaz Harris is out with that hamstring injury. The Magic are 4.5-point favorites here. Johnny Isaac, I do believe, is a must-roster category league player for now. 23 minutes for him is enough. He won't score, and you have to understand that if you roster him, that he's not going to score many points. You'll get a couple of double-digit ones in there, but it's about the other things that he does. You might get 4 or 5 boards. You might get 2 to 3 blocks, and he's got 3 blocks. I think 3 out of his last 5 games or 2 out of his last 3 games or something. You get 1 to 2 steals in there as well. He's shooting threes. They're not always going in. But that level of defensive ability from Isaac, he's one of the more consistent defensive stat producers. So if he is playing 23 minutes, I do believe he belongs on a 12-teamer. And then if he gets hurt or if it drops off, you move on. Easy stuff. Zaire Williams is another one that I want to watch because last game he did start with all these players out. He wasn't very good. But again, there's another massive opportunity here for him to do it again. So I still do think that Jalen Wilson is slightly better than Zaire Williams. I think that Wilson, when given equivalent minutes to Williams, and it's annoying that those names are so similar. Let's just call him Jalen. If I call him Jalen, there's a million of those idiots around. Let's call him Jalen, the volleyball, Wilson, and Zaire. That when they play equivalent minutes, I feel more confident in the consistency of Jalen Wilson, whereas Zaire probably has more overall categorical diversity, but it's all over the shop in terms of his shooting, his scoring, and even the ability to put up those numbers. In terms of streams, last game, the Magic went with Goga and Wendell Carter in the starting lineup, so we are streaming Goga, but that doesn't mean that sticks because the Nets are going to go very small here. I'm guessing because Claxton may not play. Simmons is going to have to do all the point guard work. There'll be a lot of Trendon Watford in that mix as well, but the Nets have been small a lot this season. Now, you can either go small against them or you can just overwhelm them with bigness, which, we've all had a crack at some point. You can, then I don't know which way Jamal Moses is going to go, but we saw it last game, so let's stream Goga in and go for that. And Mo Wagner remains a stream as well. Deeper league ones, you go to Mr. O'Black, and then there's Contavious Caldwell-Pope, who cooked last game. Pity the 17 games before that he was terrible, but he was really good. And then on the net side of things, Ben Simmons' numbers are up. He's playing more minutes, and if Claxton's in, it hurts Simmons a bit, but Schroeder's absence means I do think that old mate Jordi Fernandez is going to have to grin and bear it a little bit and deal with the fact that he doesn't like to play them together because the other options are terrible. So many net stream options available here with Martin and Milton and what's the other guy's name? I just forgot off the top of my head. Keon Johnson. Even old mate Jackie Chue might get some minutes. I doubt it, but you never know. You never know if we're getting some Jack action. Oh, we'll always get some Jack action. The Clippers and the Wolves. Just got to double check if any more random injuries have been sprung on me. Nope, not at this point. So that is absolutely a W. We've got the Clippers and the Wolves. Is this an early one as well? And I think we're back to normal time here. Yeah, we are. This is a 7:30 p.m., same as the Orlando-Brooklyn game, 7:30 p.m. Eastern games. Schedule-wise, Friday, Sunday for the Clippers into Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday, week 7, whereas Minnesota finishes up last game of the week for them on Friday, and then they have Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Kawhi remains out. Norman Powell is questionable. He was questionable. Well, you always know if you're watching on the video that if there's an asterisk next to a status, that means that is my prediction or projection on the status versus the real status, unless my verbal overtones here tell you that a confirmation is coming in the meantime. At the moment, I don't know on Norman Powell. He was questionable last game, so I'll put him questionable here again. Kobe Brown, questionable too. He probably doesn't play most nights, while Joe Ingles has missed 2 games in a row with a calf issue. Old man, calf issue. You don't like to see it. I do have him questionable. Probably should be doubtful. I want to watch Kevin Porter Jr. I don't, because I hate watching him. He's one of the more annoying players to watch, one of the worst basketball decision makers in the NBA. But what I want to see more is his minutes and his playing time. He has been bad. Over the last week, even with opportunities with Norman Powell out, he has not cracked the top 240, I think, in category leagues, which is very clearly terrible. But let's see how they use him. That's what we want to watch. And then Mike Conley for the Wolves played 32 minutes last game. I very much do believe they need him because DiVincenzo is struggling and Rob Dillingham's a rookie. So Conley is getting a lot. In terms of streams, Chris Dunn is there for the Clippers, but then there's just a bunch of other guys. You've got Derek Jones. You could go to Porter for those in the old double Onyx, Diamond, Platinum, Titanium leagues. Jordan Miller scoring nicely in double digits a lot of the time. He doesn't do much else, but there's some double digits there for those of you in the deeper formats looking for the 0% rostered players. And then, of course, old mate Dawson himself, Jaden McDaniels, who was starting to look good and then was dreadful again with incredibly low usage. Foul trouble is always going to be a problem with him. I don't mind him still as a stream, but we have to understand who he is. And yeah, maybe the Leopards don't change their spots. They do eat your face, though. Let's go on to the next one. The Celtics and the Bulls. The Celtics in Chicago, 10-point favorites against our Chicago Bulls. Boston goes Friday, Sunday, and then into Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So a back-to-back at the end of the week for Boston. And Chicago ends their week on Friday here. And then they play Monday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. Luke Cornett dealing with hamstring issue. He's missed the last couple of games. It doesn't really matter at this point, given that both Porzingis and Horford are back. And they're going to actually play together for the first time in this game, Porzingis and Horford. And so, yeah, we don't worry too much about Cornett there. And that starting lineup is going to be intriguing. I would guess that Horford comes off the bench. The only other thing they could possibly do is bring Drew Holiday off the bench, but I think Al is going to come off the bench here. I'm going to label Patrick Williams as doubtful with the foot issue. Don't know whether he plays. Dalen Terry sprained his ankle in the last game, so I'll put him as doubtful. And that probably means that our mate, our savior, our Lord and Savior here on Turkey Day, the lead turkey himself, Taylor Horton-Tucker, is probably going to have to get some minutes. And then Jalen Smith missed the last game, and then Adama Sanogo also missed. That's why we got EJ Liddell playing backup center minutes. On the Celtics, I want to watch Porzingis. I thought he was very good in his first game back, but it's more about watching his minutes, what it does to Al Horford's minutes. I think Horford is a hold for now, but it could very easily become a drop. On the Bulls, Lonzo Ball put up an absolutely fantastic stat line in limited minutes, but that is just an impossible thing to do on a consistent basis in 17 minutes. So he's streamable if you want, and you're searching for defensive stats and assists, but as a general must-roster player, I don't think so. I don't think he's going to push to 24 minutes a night at any point this season, unless something weird happens through injuries or trades, which could happen. But I think it's almost one of those white elephant scenarios where you love him and we love Lonzo Ball and we put him on our roster and we sit there and we go, but if only, but what if the minutes push and what if the minutes push? And then 7 weeks later, he's still playing 21 minutes a night and he's the 180th best player and he's sat all back-to-backs and he's copped another injury at some point, knock on wood, it doesn't happen, and that's wasted a spot. And that's one of those ones that usually I just try to avoid. That sort of scenario. In terms of streams, I will, like, Al Horford's down to 39% rostered on Yahoo. I think people may be a little bit hasty in dropping him. I would be using him here. And then Ayo Dosunmu has been getting good minutes. Yeah, it doesn't mean he's been putting up good numbers. And the defensive matchup here is tough, although that's not usually a huge factor on a game-by-game trying to predict basis. But Dosunmu is at least usable with my expectation or assumption that Patrick Williams is out. We've got more games to cover, but today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Get ready to tackle all of the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything that you need to place all of your live bets on the NFL, and it's all in one place. You open the app, the bets are there, and then you can see the live stats. Then you can see the live play-by-play. It's all there. How convenient to have all that information right at your fingertips. So when you get that hunch, get to FanDuel.com and place those live bets and get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That is FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. Okay, next game, 7th game of the day, Raptors, Heat. We did have injury updates for both of these teams, so that is a W for us to get that. Let's have a look. What we need to, well, schedule-wise, it's Friday, Sunday for both teams. Actually, they play each other on Friday, Sunday here, so it's Toronto, Miami, then Toronto, Miami. And then Toronto is Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Miami is Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. Quickly is out. Bruce Brown is out. Dick is out. Grady Dick is also out. Kelly Olynyk is out. Kevin Love is questionable, but Rozier, Butler, and Duncan Robinson are probable. Now, thanks for putting Duncan Robinson probable. Didn't even know there was anything wrong with him, and that doesn't mean he's not going to miss. And Rozier, we know, is going to be dealing with his foot problem, but it is positive news to see that Jimmy Butler is probable after his absolutely stinking performance last game with that back issue that ended his night early. He's probable, so let's see where we go, and let's see what he's able to provide for us in that one. We have to watch what is happening with Gary Trent III, Jacoby Walter, because his first start was impressive. Big rebounding games, only shot 20% from 3. My worry for him is that he is a little bit of a chucker. He's a chucker the way that Keontae George is a chucker, except he doesn't have the point guard skills. And that's the sort of player that can be very hit or miss in fantasy. I like the fact that he grabbed those rebounds. I don't really think that's a thing that's going to happen. But with Dick out, Walter has that chance, because let's also be honest, Davion Mitchell's terrible. I wish that Darko Rajakovic would just try Jamal Shed into that spot instead, but he hasn't done that. So at the moment, we're getting Walter, we're getting Abaji, and they're the two replacement starters at the moment with Quickly on the sideline and Dick on the sideline. So we watch Walter. I don't think that it's a must-roster situation for him. You can definitely try it with a Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday schedule. That's not bad. That's every second day on. But I also just don't know how long Toronto is going to have Dick out for. They said it was a calf soreness thing. Now it's a calf contusion. I actually think that we might just not have Grady playing for the rest of this week, and maybe he's back on Tuesday. So if you wanted to try a Friday, Sunday, Dickless Walter stream, maybe that works for you. I have some concerns about Walter's overall production, but there is an opportunity here. And then for the Heat, it's about Bam Adebayo for me because he just continues to be really frustrating in terms of the production that he's providing and some of his weird rim finishing numbers and the volume of threes that he's taking. And maybe that is just the new reality for Bam, that he can't do those things. I don't think that he can't finish at the rim. I think that changes, but shot selection becomes more important versus those weird sort of shooting anomalies. Abaji probably is the stream over Walter, and the only reason I say that is that Abaji's had more of a track record. He's had a track record of sucking too, don't get me wrong, but he was very good last game. He's had a couple of very strong games. He had some terrible ones, but he's probably the one I look to there. And then I do think Duncan Robinson is going to be worth the stream, but you know what old mate Eric Spoelstra can do. It could be Robinson, it could be Burks, it could be the exhumation of the corpse of Josh Richardson, it could be Jaquez, it could be Palat Larson, it could be a million different players who step in. But at the moment, Robinson's getting a little bit of the nod, but we are moving into annoying, we're not there, we're already there with Spoelstra. It's annoying rotation time in Miami. Let's do the next one. We're talking Pistons Pacers. We did get some updates here on this one. We got the official update on Norman Powell now as well. He is questionable, so that is official. We had him listed that way anyway. Pistons and the Pacers. Detroit goes Friday, Saturday into Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday. Indiana is Friday, Sunday into Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Clintman is out, and I did have Cade Cunningham as doubtful, but in very, very good news, he is actually officially questionable, meaning that we don't think that this is going to be a long-term thing for Cade. The fact that they're putting him questionable doesn't mean that he plays, but it's a great sign. Now, they go Friday, Saturday. I'll be very shocked if Cade plays in both of those. I think he probably sits this game and then plays on Saturday, but that is a positive sign that Cunningham is ready and rocking and raring and whatever other R word you can find in there to be available to play. The thick hogsman Tobias Harris missed the last game for the Pistons. He's officially questionable here as well. While for the Pacers, you've got the usual guys out, Nembhard, Neesmith, and Ben Shepherd, and they also took the dildo Johnny Furphy. He's not on the injury report. And who did they put on? I think, no, that's it. All their injuries are good to go. So what we want to watch for the Pistons is Asar Thompson. He started last game, but I think we can throw that entire box score out. They got cooked by the Grizzlies incredibly early. Bench units played most of the second half. Asar didn't really do anything. I still am very concerned about what his overall role is going to be on this team. But if Harris is out, the fact that John Bear Bickerstaff went with him immediately in the starting lineup is a good sign. You can hold Asar. We can see what happens. His minutes, I think, are going to be very cautiously monitored all through this early part of the season, but we want to see how it all plays out. For the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton, he's doing nothing to dispel the home-road split allegations. This is another one at home, so does he cook again? That's what we want to watch because he has been awesome the last two games. In terms of stream, guys, it's about Isaiah Stewart to me. He was absolutely horrendous last game, but so was everybody basically. It's about watching those minutes with him and Duran, but he's at least streamable here, Stewart. And then for the Pacers, TJ McConnell, or, of course, in your double Onyx Diamond Titanium Platinum leagues, Quentin Jackson is someone who is getting the start. He's playing those 30 minutes. He's Quentin Jackson, but he is hit or miss in terms of where the production goes. Kings Blazers is our next game to take a look at. This is one of the later games. Sacramento is Friday, Sunday into Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Portland's Friday, Sunday into Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. Trey Lyles and Devin Carter remain out for Sacramento, and what we don't know is DeMar DeRozan, who missed the last game with a back injury. Now, every day I go in, and you don't need to know all the ins and outs of my daily moves and what I do, but I go in and I get rankings off basketballmonster.com, and I download what happened the last 2 weeks on a per game basis, and I use my -1 weighted rankings, which I still find are the best way to assess fantasy value, and I put them into a spreadsheet, and I've got a spreadsheet of everyone's rankings every day for the previous 2 weeks, so it's rolling 2-week averages. And then I occasionally go in there and have a look to see where Nikola Vucevic stands, and yes, I think he's 33rd over the last 2 weeks and has been 31st for the last 2 weeks in all those samples, and that's, yeah, cool. But what stood out to me is DeMar DeRozan. And I went, what the hell is going on now? Why is DeRozan down here? Now, I know there was a game that he left with a back issue and he's missed some games, but again, these numbers are per game rankings. And I tweeted this out and I put it on Blue Sky and Instagram. But DeRozan started the season as a really comfortable top 25 player on those rankings. If I go through his numbers in that rolling rank, he started out 21st, and then went 21st, 26th, 21st, 28th, 33rd, 28th, 27th, 28th. Really good. And then 40, 38, 45, 53, 55, 75, 74, 79, 80. Okay, what's going on here? 108. Oh, yeah. 104, 168, 184, 180, 183. What is going on? And that is the sort of stuff, and that is not me saying that DeRozan is dropping off or he's not going to have fantasy value. My take on him as a real-life player and the issues that it causes for others remains relevant and I think accurate. But this is more to say, like, well, this is a very, very weird and bad stretch for DeRozan. He's not hitting free throws for whatever reason. And that's sometimes how you can execute a buy low, sell high. So if I tweet about this or if I talk about it and say, hey, he's really dropped off, that is not me saying he is bad. That is me saying that is a very weird scenario that he has fallen that much, and people will misinterpret numbers and production or the last game that happened, meaning that maybe there's a little bit of something there you can do on a buy low on DeMar DeRozan. Maybe. A lot of talk on DeMar DeRozan. Donovan Clingan is out for Portland. Matisse Thybulle is out. I don't have the update on this yet, but I'm expecting that Robert Williams will be out with his concussion, so I'll put him as doubtful. Jeremy Grant missed the last one with his knee problem. I'll put him as questionable. And the other one is Chris Murray with the sternum, who I'm going to put as questionable as well. Speaking of Murray's, Chris's brother Keegan started to put together some good games and then stunk again in the last one. He has been really frustrating, I'm sure, for most people who rostered him. I don't believe I have him on any teams because I was very clearly down on him this season for reasons that I was fairly articulate with, and it's been a really rough stretch. And honestly, if I can go back to those last 2-week ranking numbers and count it down from the last period of time, like 129, 110, 113, 150, 145, 139, 160, 153, 142, 140. That's a non-rosterable 10-team league player. I would hold Keegan Murray in 10s, but it is moving the wrong direction really quickly, unfortunately. The other thing I want to watch in Portland is Denny Avdia, who started out the season horrendously. Like, he had a stretch of being out to the top 200 for many weeks. But now we are sort of getting back in business. And the last little update around on the rankings, 85th over the last 2 weeks. Largely with some injuries and playing a lot of backup center, but things have started to turn around. And I detailed him earlier today as well on the Shooting Oddities show, talking about how some of his numbers are very weird and why they're so bad. And some of his rim finishing numbers were horrendous. But playing at center will help him. And if we do have a scenario where Robert Williams is out again, he's going to have to play some small ball center. And if Jeremy Grant is out again, he's going to play a lot of minutes. A lot of people believe in Denny as his future star player. I don't. So I would be using any sort of uptick in production here for Denny as a sell high moment, but you got to hit the right spot with the right person. In terms of stream, guys, we actually saw a huge game last time out from Malik Monk with DeMar DeRozan out. Now, I do worry about what happens if DeRozan plays. Monk is, to me, very clearly, you could say their fourth best player or even fifth best player, yet it sometimes gets pushed down to play the same minutes as Trey Lyles, which makes no sense, clearly. I want to see how Mike Brown uses him with Keon Ellis and Kevin Huerter and a maybe return of DeMar DeRozan, but I do think that Monk should be on rosters. The next guy is Tamani Kamara, who I don't know that should be on rosters. His production has sort of dropped a little bit. We saw big minutes from Scoot Henderson in the last game, and Kamara's playing time has actually started to drop. And again, we can use these ranking numbers where over the last... my last 4 reporting days on the 2-week rolling sample, 140, 141, 154, 161, 186. It is going the wrong direction quickly. Kamara is like a steals specialist, and I do not think that he is a must-roster 12-team league player, but he is available in a lot of spots, and he's streamable. But just watch those minutes as they continue to push down a little bit. Now, I get into the final game of the day, and this is where some of my weird things happen on my graphics. So I'm going to hope that I can catch this and get it correct, but if I don't, I apologize. Hope everything comes out all right here. Oh, where'd it go? Why's it doing that? There we go. Caught it. Yeah, this is going to be annoying because I definitely didn't have the time to go back and actually redo the graphics properly, but we're good. We got it. It's Thunder Lakers. Oklahoma City plays Friday, Sunday into Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. The Lakers go Friday, Sunday into Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Chet's out, Jeng's out, Pig Williams is out. Alex Caruso's missed the last few. I'll put him questionable, but I'm a little worried about his ability to play here. And then Jalen Williams, the Bronco, copped a whack in the eye last game from Jonathan Kuminga. Didn't return to the game. It seems like he's going to be okay, so I have preemptively labeled Jalen Williams as probable. That is not official from the team. You will get more official information from the team coming up soon, but we don't know that yet. right? We don't know that yet. I just think he'll be okay. Wood is out for the Lakers. Vanderbilt is out. Jackson Hayes, I don't think will play with the ankle sprain. And Bronny James is dealing with a heel contusion. I'm also very certain he won't play. What do I want to watch for the Thunder? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is what I want to watch. Last game, Shai was 6 of 10 from the free throw line. It's annoying, isn't it? And one of Shai's big strengths is big defensive stats. We know this. But it's also this high-volume free throw number. And I talked a lot in the offseason about how Shai was consistently going as the number 4 ranked player. And that's okay, but I was fairly confident he wouldn't finish in that area because there were some signs that some of the free throw stuff was getting a bit weird. And I would say so far, again, let's look at the rolling ranks. 8th, 7th, 13th, 16th, 15th, 15th, 36 in a weird week. 13th, 12th, 11th, 10th, 12th, 13th, 10th, 9th, 6th, 5th, 6th, 4th, 8, 8, 14. So still very good. But not pushing top 3, more the middle to back end of the first round. And the free throws are an issue because when you take as many as he does, when you go 6 of 10, it actually really hurts a lot, deeply, Shai. So let's watch it. D'Angelo Russell is what I want to watch in the Lakers because his last 2 games have been better. And I've told you that I was very scared of dropping him. And I said, okay, it's not really going anywhere. And now they've decided to play him a little bit more. Now, one of those games was a garbage time special, but the last game wasn't. So if he's available, I don't mind a re-add because I am petrified of him getting into a hot streak and popping off. Because remember, the other guys playing, Cam Reddish, are terrible. And Russell's at least a little bit better than terrible. In terms of stream, guys, I'm going to put Kaysen Wallace there. He was great in the last game, and there's a chance that Caruso misses. There's a chance that Jalen Williams misses. Wallace could also do nothing, much like Joe could do nothing, or Wiggins could do nothing, or AJ Mitchell could do nothing. It is all over the place with the Thunder on a very consistent basis. At least it's consistently all over the place. And then Dalton Connect just flies under my roster percentage cutoff at 40%. He was very good last game. Him in the starting lineup is definitely a 12-team back-end player. I don't think he's got super high upside because his overall skill set requires really good usage in minutes, and I'm not sure that always happens along with good shooting, and he doesn't have a lot of other stuff to always buffer it, but if he is starting, we do look at him and we use him, and then we can go from there. Now, that is that part. Let's talk schedule stuff to wrap up this show, which, I don't know, I feel like I've had a lot to talk about today, which is okay. I think it's okay. Now, here's another one. I've got to try and make sure I catch the right spot here on the transition. Let's talk about the back-to-backs. Am I going to catch it? I'm not, am I? There it is. It disappeared. Let's try it again. All right. Oh, I missed it again. All right, we'll get that. We'll get this one. Oh, where's it going? There it is. Sorry, this is so annoying. I know it's going to annoy you, but let's play a game. Let's see if I can actually work it out. Back-to-backs, Atlanta, Charlotte, Detroit, Friday, Saturday. So let's put Vasa Micic at the top of this list because LaMelo Ball is going to miss one of them, maybe 2. Maybe 3 weeks, maybe a month, maybe a year. I don't know. Musa Diabate is there. Isaiah Stewart is there. Vasa Micic is there. I'll just keep saying Vasa Micic. In fact, I might even put his face on the thumbnail just so you know that Vasa Micic is an option. Diabate, Stewart, Cody Martin, Leaky Beasley. You could throw Timmy Hardaway in there, I guess, as well. Joshy Green, and I am going to put Tijan Salan on that list, even though I do have some levels of skepticism about his overall production. Next, we're going to get chunky with it over here. There it goes. Didn't work. Let's try it again. Why is that not working? Pause. Didn't get that one right, but that's okay. We're getting there. We're not getting there at all. Chunks, next 5 days, Friday through to Tuesday. These players all play 3 games and are under-rostered. Malik Monk, Goga Badadze, John Isaac, Lou Dort. Yes, he's been terrible. Maybe it's an upswing coming. I don't know. TJ McConnell and Isaiah Stewart. Every one of these players has flaws. That's why they're on waiver wires. But a little 3-game in 5-night chunk might be enough to get them to provide some value. And again, because there is so much game-to-game variance, especially with guys like this, I think at some point we need to be paying a little bit more attention to that longer stream to get, if we can get 2 out of 3 good games, it's useful. Versus like you add him, he has a stinker, you drop him, he has a good one, you add him again, he has a stinker or whatever, right? When we have sort of a track record and you feel relatively confident about the player and the playing time that we have to understand that. Because again, and I will re-stress this, when we talk about, or when you look at fantasy rankings, whether it's on Basketball Monster, whether it's on Yahoo, whether it's whatever, or when we look at numbers for the end of the year, they are tailored to a full season, an average that works out. But that doesn't mean that player gets that every game. And how they get there is very different. So the longer you can give a player to sort of hit those averages, the better overall you will be. You'll get a 30-point game from Monk. You'll get a 10-point game from Monk. Overall, that's 20 points a game. Pretty good, yeah? But if you picked and chose and dropped him after the 10 and missed the 30, well, you got nothing out of it. Yeah? Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get this next slide to work. And this is probably one of the least important slides that I'm putting up. Oh, we nailed it. Bang. I think we might get this here. This is the 5 and 2s in the schedule part. Who plays 5 games in the next 7 days? Who plays 2 games in the next 7 days? The answer is nobody. So everyone plays either 4 or 3 games in the next 7 days from Thursday onwards. That'll bring us now to talk about the streams of the day, which is a great little thing to talk about at this point. This one might be a little bit hard for me to catch. Let's start with the streams of the day right here. Almost got it. Almost had it. We'll get it this time. The stream of the day. There we go. 10-team stream. I am putting Diabate there, but scratch him. Put Vasa Micic instead. Vasa Micic, stream of the day. Ben Simmons for 12-teamers. Keon Ellis for 14. Quentin Jackson for 16 and deeper. And then for Yahoo points, it's Micic. And ESPN points, it's Micic. Diabate is still a really good stream. We're just putting Micic up the top there. All right? Yep, we keep going with that. Let's look now at some 10-team category streams. So try and catch it. Yeah. Oh, I missed it just. There we go. 10-team streams. Vasa Micic, Musa Diabate, Ben Simmons, Mike Conley, Goga Badadze, Jonathan Isaac, and Keon Ellis. Let's go through now and have a look at 12-team stream options. Chris Dunn, Quentin Jackson, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kaysen Wallace, Juice McBride, and Brandon Clark. For those of you in the deeper leagues, we start with Dorian Finney-Smith. On this one, Cody Martin, Kevin Porter Jr., Duncan Robinson, Jake LaRavia, and Tijan Salan. For Yahoo Points League streaming, a lot of the names that we've mentioned already. We've got Musa Diabate. Why did that not work? Vasa Micic, Musa Diabate, Ayo Dosunmu, Malik Monk, DeAndre Hunter, Ben Simmons, Goga Badadze, and then lastly, ESPN Points Leagues. Musa Diabate, Vasa Micic, Ayo Dosunmu, Malik Monk, Ben Simmons, Al Horford, and Goga Badadze. Sorry about that graphical production error at the end. Something happened and I screwed it up and I apologize and I got to go take Obi to the vet. Wish the big fella luck. He's going to hate it and he's going to cry all day. So that's going to be awesome. But, I'll tell him that he was a good boy all day and that'll make him happy. And you have also been a good boy or a good girl or just a good person. Think about the good things you did. Celebrate the positive, celebrate an achievement, celebrate someone else's achievement without having to bring others down. It is possible to do. Reflect on the negatives, work on the negatives, do the good thing, celebrate the good thing, recognize the good thing. Guys, I don't want this to sound inspirational or motivational at all. I want it to sound genuine because it is. It is. Do the good thing. Let's do the good things together. Let's be very good at our fantasy leagues. Let's be very good at understanding and discussing and communicating. And guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.